ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्. So we have just about 18 verses left to complete this verse. This work, a beautiful work, Aparokshanubhuti, where Bhagwan Shankaracharya is explaining the entire Vedantic teaching in his own way and in a very, very easy way to understand. Sometimes maybe Bhagwan Shankaracharya takes a little bit, off the track explanation. It is only to make us understand clearly and look at it from another point of view. And we are almost coming to the end of the Nididhyasanam section, where the Nididhyasanam was talked about as a combination of 15 limbs. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya says that each limb should be that which should take me to my own Swarupam Brahman. And in the last verse, which we completed in the last session, we saw, he says that this person who's abiding in the Atma Swarupam, he is a person who's a Purna Atma, Ananda Swarupa Atma. What is the meaning of Ananda Swarupa Atma? He is abiding in his natural state of Purnatvam or Ananda. It is not an artificial Ananda. That's what we saw in the 225th verse. He said, Akritrima Anandam Idam. This Ananda is Akritrimam. It is not something artificial. It's not something where the Sukha or Ananda or Purnatvam is temporarily whipped up by an object of the world outside. It's not so. Then what is it? It is something which is my very own nature. I'm Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Sat Chit Ananda Atma. Ananda is usually explained or translated into English as bliss. But that's not the correct thing. Ananda is Purnatvam, completeness, Anantatvam or Purnatvam. It is the feeling of absolute oneness with everything. It is something where I don't feel any limitations. The body mind has got its limitations, but I don't see or I do not take those limitations to apply to me, the Ananda Swarupa Atma. For the jiva, for the body mind sense complex, Ananda is limited, Ananda is artificial. But for me, the Atma, it is my very nature. Something which is my very nature, I cannot be out of it. But unfortunately, because of my entanglement with the body mind sense complex, I take myself to be a limited body mind sense complex. I take myself to be an apurna jiva. I take myself to be an incomplete, always waiting for some kind of happiness to come from outside. No, but this person is the one who who is this person who has done the nididhyasanam properly, and who is now a jivan mukta ajnani, who's abiding in his own sukha swarupa atma, abiding in his nature, swastha. So, this is what is meant by Jnana Nishtha. That's why Bhagwan Krishna, when he described a Sthita Prajna or a Jnani, he said, Prajahati yada kaman, okay? That is, whatever kamas are there, whatever desires or apurnatvam is there in one's heart, sarvan, okay? Sarvan, manogatan, those that are there, unfulfilled desires that are there in the mind, Prajahati. That means what? All the desires completely just get dropped out, because all the desires are nothing but desires to fulfill one's need to be complete. There is nothing left to complete anything at all. So, this is what is called as the Purnatvam, or in the Ananda Swarupa Atma, which is my natural Swarupa. It is something natural to me. There is no need for me to look for something else. Atmaratihi, Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. I am happy, contented, Purnatva Sarupa in me, myself. I don't need something else to fulfill me. This is what is called as the Jnana Nishtha, which is the result of Nididhyasanam. And in the previous verse, that is 126th verse, Bhagwan Shankaracharya said, this Jivan Mukta is free from sadhana sadhya. He is no longer a sadhaka. He is a siddha. He is no longer a mumukshu. He is a mukta purusha. Whatever was the goal as moksha, it is no longer a goal now. He is beyond the means and ends. This jnani, he or she, when abides in his or her Atma Swarupa, Ananda Swarupa Atma, the Siddha Vastu Atma has been seen, understood as myself. What is called as Samyak Darshanam, what is called as Jnanam. And here the person is free forever. Free forever means while living also, such a jnani is not afflicted by the samsara of the world outside. See, it doesn't mean that for a jnani, world does not exist. No, the world as much exists for a jnani as much for any one of us. The same vyavaharas continue. The same role that he plays will continue. But what is the difference? There is no lepa. He or she is no longer afflicted by the impermanent nature of samsara. Samsara means the jagat and its vyavaharas, this body mind sense complex, no longer hold this person by the neck. That means what? This person is free when he still this body mind sense complex is associated, still this jagat is there, but still this person is free, this jnani is free, because he has seen the mithyatvam of the jagat, he has seen the mithyatvam of the body mind sense complex. Then who am I am the Satya Atma, and nothing mithya can affect me. Like no dream experience can affect me. However beautiful it may be, however horrible it may be, a dream experience cannot really affect me. Similarly, this whole universe is like a dream which is vitataha, which is absolutely a mithya, experiential reality, but not absolutely there. So, what happens? This world no longer has the capacity to affect me, bind me. This is what is called as Jivan Mukti. And such a person, because this knowledge has resolved or it has destroyed or dissolved or burnt away all the karmas, this person is no longer a traveling jiva, and when the body falls, the body merges with the you know panchabhutas, gross panchabhutas. The sukshma sharira merges with the subtle panchabhutas. Karana sharira, ignorance is already gone. So what is there to travel? What is there to come back? This is what is called as the videha mukti in the shastra. So such is the mukta purusha. This is what is called as moksha. Now in the next two verses, which will kind of complete this section of 15 angas. This particular section will be completed with the last two verses, the 127 and 128 verses, which talk about the possible obstacles in nididhyasana. We can understand it as practically as the obstacles, vignas, that can come during any kind of a contemplation or meditation. Ultimately, nididhyasanam is also a contemplation meditation. So, in even in our daily japa, we can get these things. So, nididhyasana is one of these contemplatory sadhanas where there can be a lot of weakness. Bhagwan Gaudapadacharya, in his Mandukya Karika, talks about four types of vignas, four types of obstacles. But in Aparokshanubhuti, Bhagwan Shankaracharya adds a few to them, but they all come within that four. And let us see what are the obstacles or the vignas that Bhagwan Shankaracharya is talking about. He's not telling us what is the solution for these vignas, but he just warns us that these are the possible obstacles that can come during your nididhyasana. Whereas in Mandukya Karika, Bhagwan Gaudapadacharya even gives the remedies for the obstacles. Now we will stick to this text and we'll see what the 127th and 28th verse say. We'll take them together. So I'll read them both together. समाधौ क्रियमाणे तु विघ्ना आयान्ति वै बलात् अनुसन्धानराहित्यम् आलस्यं भोगलालसं लयस्तमश्च विक्षेपो रसास्वादश्च शून्यता एवं यद्विघ्नबाहुल्यं त्याज्यं ब्रह्मविदाशनैः. So here Bhagwan Shankaracharya has given 8 obstacles which can be grouped into actually a set of 4 vignas or obstacles. So let us see first, enumerate what these obstacles are. So what does Bhagwan Shankaracharya say? Samadhau kriyamane. When you are trying to concentrate and when you are trying to contemplate on aham satyam jagan mithya, in this process of nididhyasanam, samadhau kriyamani, when I'm practicing this nididhyasanam of contemplation of aham satyam jagan mithya, vighna ayanti vai balat. Lot of vignas come. Balat. They come very, very strongly, they come. And that is because our mind and our sense organs are so used to looking outwards that they keep coming. And also, if I'm not a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari, if I have not spent sufficient time in calming the mind by karma yoga, upasana yoga, if I have not followed the 21 values that Bhagwan Krishna talks about in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita for the maturity of the mind, if I have not done this, then the obstacles are more. And when I have followed exactly the pattern given by the Shastra, preparing my mind adequately for this jnanam, then whatever Shravanam, Mananam I have done, Nididhyasanam becomes easier because the mind has managed its ragadveshas. The mind has managed its restlessness. The mind and the sense organs are already managing their outwardliness. All this happens in a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari, And therefore, these obstacles may not be very, very severe in them. But if I'm not well prepared, if my preparation is not good enough, ayanti vai balat, vignaha ayanti. Vignas will come, obstacles will come, and they will disturb. What are these vignas? He's going to name in the last line of this verse and the first line of the next verse is the 8 types of vignas which Bhagwan Shankaracharya talks about. Number one, Anusandhana Rahityam. Anusandhana Rahityam. That is, I somehow postpone Nididhyasanam. Some kind of a lethargy to get into Nididhyasana. Anusandhana Rahityam. Anusandhana means Nididhyasana. Somehow I feel, oh, I've heard enough. I have done enough of Mananam. I have understood what this is. Why should I do Nididhyasanam? So I postpone, procrastinate. I don't do Nididhyasanam. So Anusandhana Rahityam. Not interested in doing the Nididhyasanam. That is the first thing. That I don't have the desire to assimilate this knowledge. That is the first step. Unless I try to do the Anusandhanam, how can I go to all these other 15 steps, whatever 15 steps have been given here? So, Anusandhana Rahityam. That is not interested in Anusandhanam. Okay, I'll do it next time, I'll do it tomorrow, this kind of a procrastination. That is Anusandhana Rahityam. Alasyam. It can be included in this only Alasyam. I sit for meditation, I sit for this one, Nididhyasanam, but some kind of a laziness, some kind of a laziness where I'm not really into it. I'm not focusing on it properly. So it's some kind of a alasyam, laziness, procrastination. It can be included in Anusandhana Rahityam only because alasyam is one of the reasons for Anusandhana Rahityam. Let us see tomorrow. Let us see day after tomorrow. No, today I'm not feeling like doing it. Alasyam. Like for a person, in my profession, it happens, when I ask people to go for walks, there is always, I'll go tomorrow. I'll start from January 1st. I will start from some other time. I have to go out somewhere. When I come back from my trip, I will start. So always that alasyam. Do it for 1 or 2 days, then not interested into it. No commitment. So alasyam. Third one is bhogalalasam. Still, I have got the interest in enjoying the bhogas of the world outside. That means kama, krodha, raga, dvesha have not been managed fully. There is still raga about something. Oh, it seems there is something new there. Let me do that. I should go here and see this. Let me do that. Something new movie has come. Let me go and see that. Something new has appeared on the on the internet. Let me see that. So bhogalalasam, a new restaurant has opened. Let me go and try it. Nothing wrong. Vedanta says nothing wrong with that. But then let it not come in the way of my nididhyasana. Okay. I may feel like, okay, once in a way going out and, having some good time. That's all right. But then if it becomes a habit, and if always it interferes with my, nididhyasanam, then sitting nididhyas, later it should become sahaja samadhi, as I told you. Every minute of my life, it should be available, this knowledge. But before that, I should have at least initially the sitting nididhyasanam where I sit for a period of time as explained by Bhagwan Krishna in the 6th chapter and do something about it as a sincere, committed nididhyasaka. But then bhogalalasam, when I sit for nididhyasanam, all kinds of bhogalalasam, the desire to do this, to do that, to taste this, to buy this, to go here, to go there, bhogalalasam. That is a kind of vikshepa only. The mind and the sense organs are going out, kama, the desire to, have this kritrima ananda or this kind of a unnatural or artificial ananda by experiencing the bhoga of the world outside. Bhoga lalasam. That's one of the obstacles, he says. Fourth, layaha. Layaha, sleep. So the minute I sit for meditation, I sleep. Layaha. Now Bhagwan Gaudapadacharya says this sleep or laya could be because the body is very tired, or nidra sheshaha. That means I have not had my sleep which is necessary for this body. Therefore, when there is less of sleep, the body is tired, the body wants to make up for it, make up for the lost sleep. So, nididhyasana, when I close my eyes, when the mind is quietened, that is the time when, the mind thinks that, okay, this is the time to sleep. Layaha, he says that, Laya also can be because, I have not eaten properly. I'm starving or not eaten properly, hunger. That could also be the reason for laya. Then he says tamascha, tamaha. Tamaha means what? See, the mind is a product of maya or matter. Therefore, there are three gunas, correct? That is sattva, rajas, and tamas. And for any kind of a contemplation, for any kind of a meditation, the mind should be sattva pradhana. But when the mind is rajo pradhana, the body, mind, sense complex is waiting to go outwards. When the body, mind, sense complex is tamo pradhana, when tamo pradhana mind is there, then there is a kind of inertia, laziness, inertia, that just I'm not able to concentrate on it. A kind of, where I don't feel like doing anything. Stabda, the mind is very, very stabda. That will come again in the next, this one is say. So I'm not feeling like doing it. The mind is not active. The mind is not in a absorbing condition. The mind is not sattva pradhana. It is rajo pradhana. It is more of tama pradhana. When the mind is tama pradhana, nothing can be done. When the mind is very rajo pradhana, one has to do karma and make the mind sattva pradhana. That is why in our scriptures, lot of karmas are prescribed before upasana. By doing the karmas, what do I do? The rajas associated mind or rajo pradhana mind becomes quieter. Therefore, after the karma, we are taught to sit for meditation and nididhyasanam. And all those karmas that we do, pranayama, asana, this shuddhi, this, that, and all that which we do in this pujas, shodasha upachara pujas, before the meditation, this bodily actions or karma helps to take care of the rajas that is there in this body mind sense complex. But when the mind is tamo pradhana, it is the time for the mind to go to sleep. Therefore, it is not capable of doing any kind of a nididhyasanam or meditation. So tamaha. Vikshepaha. The mind is continuously running out. Rajoguna pradhanaha. There is always a vikshepa. That I can't concentrate on nididhyasanam. Something else keeps coming into my mind. I feel like getting up every few minutes, going and doing this, doing that. It's a rajo pradhana mind which gives rise to vikshepaha. Vikshepa means running away of the mind here and there. Then there is the seventh one called rasaswada. Many people start feeling a kind of a nice feeling when they sit in meditation. So many people try to escape from their daily activities by sitting in meditation. It's because they feel very nice. Rasaswada. Actually, they are not doing meditation, but by doing sitting like that, no nididhyasanam is going on, but they are simply enjoying that quiet state. That's all. So this is called as rasaswada, which can also become an obstacle after some time. I may just go and sit in meditation or nididhyasana, I say, and sit for hours together, but I'm not really doing any active nididhyasana. It's a sense of feeling nice. That's all. That is called as rasasvada. Shunyata. Shunyata means Stabdi bhava. Stabdi bhava means a stunned mind. The mind is stunned, not capable of thinking anything. Nididhyasanam is an active process. Nididhyasanam requires the thought, Aham Brahmasmi thought, Jagan Mithya thought. Vedantic meditation is not Chittavritti Nirodha. Vedantic meditation is not cleaning the mind of thoughts. Vedantic meditation is encouraging a certain thought continuously. What are those two thoughts? Brahma Satyam, Aham Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Whichever Vedantic truth I take up, Aham Purna Atma Asmi, Aham Nitya Atma Asmi, Aham Shantosmi. Okay, Purnosmi, whichever I take, that is the thought which has to go on. Sajatiya Vritti Vyapara. That has to go on Nididhyasana. But in Shunyata, the mind is stunned. For example, you suddenly face something unexpected. What happens? Your mind is blank. Shunyata. Suddenly you are going and like like it happened to one of my friends. She was walking, and when huge dog came from the side and literally came up on her shoulders. What happens is a stunning of the mind by fear, by surprise, by whatever it is, shock. There is a stunning of the mind. And when the mind is stunned, there are no thoughts in that. And a stunned mind is not a mind which is capable of doing any kind of a meditation. This is called as the shunyata or the stabdi bhava. So these are the 8 obstacles which Bhagwan Shankaracharya talks about. Here in this context, he does not give what are the remedies for that. And since it is not here, I'm not going to dwell upon it. Maybe some other time when the context comes, how Bhagwan Gaudapadacharya explains the remedies for this, we can talk about it later. So in the last line he says, Yevam Vyadvigna Bahulyam Tyajyam. May you be aware that these are the obstacles that can come when I am trying to do the Nididhyasanam seriously. And the only way is be aware of that such a thing. And if there are any reasons for such things, let me try to get rid of them. Management of raga dveshas, developing values, whatever it is which has happened, maybe has not happened sufficiently enough for this mind to concentrate upon nididhyasana. So such things, vigna bahulyam tyajyam brahmavida shanaihi. Gradually, these kind of obstacles have to be, literally tyajyam. They have to be managed. They have to be overcome. How to overcome is a different, as I told you, it's a different topic by itself. Now, in the next few verses, the next 6 or 8 verses, Bhagwan Shankaracharya is going to talk about this Akhandakara Vritti or Brahmakara Vritti which we talked about, and the importance of a thought. Importance of a thought. And in the Nididhyasaka, how a particular thought, you know, perpetuates itself. That is why Bhagwan Krishna said in the chapter 6, Mana eva manushanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. And if you ask the psychologist and others, they'll say positive thinking, negative thoughts pull you down, positive thoughts, make you. But let us not use all those terms. But what here Bhagwan Shankaracharya wants to say is the thought that you encourage in the mind, the thought that to perpetuate in your mind is most important for an nididhyasaka. And most of the time, the thought that which should be encouraged, the thought that should be dwelt upon is nothing but this aham brahmasmi vritti. Other vrittis will come. Not that, once I have understood aham brahmasmi, of course, this is for a nididhyasaka. So I have not yet understood. I have not yet assimilated. I have not yet become a jnani. I am a nididhyasaka, still contemplating upon aham satyam jagan mithya. In such a case, in this kind of a thing, which is the thought which is going to strengthen my nididhyasanam, and which is the thought which is going to weaken my nididhyasanam? That is what he's going to talk about here in the next few verses. Let us see the 129th verse here, what he says. भाववृत्त्या हि भावत्वं शून्यवृत्त्या हि शून्यता ब्रह्मवृत्त्या हि पूर्णत्वं तथा पूर्णत्वमभ्यसेत्. Quite simple. I'm sure all of you have understood what is being said here, at least superficially, word by word meaning. Bhava hi bhavatvam. That which I think about in a very, very affirming manner, in a positive manner, it perpetuates itself. If I go on thinking, if the thought is always centered on Purnatva Atma, Purna Atma Ahamasmi, that bhava, that is bhavatvam, bhava vritya hi bhavatvam, that is aham satya atma asmi, aham purna atma asmi, that thought, as it is dwelt upon more and more, this bhava becomes more established in me. It is the thought which establishes that bhava. So bhava vritya hi bhavatvam, shunya vritya hi shunyata. Ayo, I am limited. I can't do anything. I am a samsari. Okay. I am miserable. I go on thinking, I'm miserable, I'm miserable, I'm miserable. I become miserable. That is the bhava I'm encouraging. That vritti shunyata, I am nothing, I am limited. That what it does is, it perpetuates that bhava. Whereas bhava vritya, aham purna atma asmi, aham shuddha atma asmi, aham shanta atma asmi. Whatever may be the vakyam, Vedanta vakyam I take for meditation, as I dwell more and more and more upon that thought, as I dwell more upon asanga atma ahamasmi, purna atma ahamasmi, that bhava becomes so strong that that feeling of incompleteness becomes less and less and less. I start seeing myself more and more as Purnatva Atma. When I see myself more and more and more, encourage the thought of Asanga Atma Ahamasmi, all the problems and the bondage that is caused by the Ahankara, Aham Bhava, Mama Bhava gradually starts diluting. So he says, as you think, so you become. We have heard that sentence, as I think. So if my thought is a Brahma vritti or a Kandakara vritti, and the Swarupam of me, the Atma, as I dwell upon it more and more, that becomes my bhava. So he says, bhava vritya hi bhavatvam, shunya vritta hi shunyata. The more I feel negative because of anatma, the more it gives rise to negativity. Negativity in the sense apurnatvam. You see, what is negativity in our this one? Apurnatvam. I'm not happy with anything. I feel apurna. I feel always lacking something. I always want something. I want to be somewhere else. I want to be something else. This is my problem. Nothing more than that. Okay, this kind of a limitation that I feel. So the more I think of the limitation, the more limited I feel. So what he says is, Brahma vritya hi purnatvam. Unless I understand and abide in that aham brahmasmi, aham purna atma asmi, this vritti has to become a bhava in me, then only the purnatvam is something which I abide in. Otherwise, I don't. Tatha purnatvam abhyase. Let your thought Let the Nididhyasaka's thought be always the thought of the Swarupam of me, the Atma. And naturally, the Atma Swarupa is always positive, isn't it? Because Atma Swarupam, Atma is unlimited, Nitya, Shuddha, Mukta, Ananta Atma, imperishable, immortal. So it talks of the highest. I am the highest. So when that thought is encouraged, the bhava also is the same. The bhava is also the same. Somebody asked me, the world is so horrible. Things are so negative. When I look, wherever I look, whatever I see, I don't see anything positive. I'm so depressed. What can I do? How can I do this Nididhyasanam? So I said, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. There is a reason for whatever is happening. It is Ishvara Sankalpa. It's going on. And whatever is happening is there in the Mithya name and form Jagat. The fact that you are getting disturbed by the world is the Mithya universe of names and forms which is disturbing you, which is not going to be the same. So, if I can see this whole thing is nothing but Brahman, why am I getting so frustrated by what I'm seeing? What I'm experiencing outside, whatever I'm seeing is nothing but Mithya. Yes, it may be not the right thing that is happening, but is there something I can do about it? I can only contribute. I cannot change the universe. I can't change something else. I can only contribute to leading a dharmic life at the same time. Yes, this is Ishvara Sankalpa. This is Ishvara's creation. This is the law of Ishvara. Whatever has to happen is happening. But ultimately, this universe is nothing but Brahman. Brahman cannot disturb me. Only the Mithya name and form Jagat is disturbing me. If this is my Nididhyasanam, then where is the question of disturbance? So, this is the Nididhyasanam at such times when I'm disturbed by the world outside, when I'm disturbed by the political scene outside, disturbed by what is happening, with whatever it is. People give me 100 reasons to feel miserable about the world outside. Yes, this what you're saying is right, but then it is an experiential reality. It is not the truth. It is mithya. What is Satyam is that the whole thing is Brahman only. What I am seeing is a mere manifestation, which is nothing but like a movie which has to end sometime, somewhere. When I do this, take this up for Nididhyasanam, so that vritti of shunyata is not there, but the vritti of bhava, what? Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. This world which is right now disturbing me is nothing but Brahman. How can it disturb me? It is disturbing me because I am taking this name and form Jagat as reality. That is why it's disturbing. Can it not be a subject of Nididhyasanam for me? Jagan Mithyatvam, let me take up for Nididhyasanam. If the world is disturbing me. So, this is what is called as Brahma Vritya hi Purnatvam Tatha Purnatvam Abhyase. So may the Nididhyasaka always concentrate upon the Asangatvam, Purnatvam, Nityatvam, Muktatvam, Shuddhatvam of Aham Brahma, and not the incompleteness of the Anatma, body, mind, sense complex and Jagat. In the next verse, 130th verse, he says, Yehi vrittim jahatyenam brahmyakyam pavanim param vrithaiva te tu jivanti pashubhishcha samanaraha. Bhagwan Shankaracharya is he's coming down very sternly upon us who are not looking at it this way. He says, Yehi vrittim jahati yenam brahmakhyam pavanim param. The most sacred thought, param, pavanim param, vritti. This vritti, which is the most exalted para, vritti, Pavani, the most purifying vritti. What vritti? Brahmakhya vritti. Aham Brahmasmi Sarvam Khaluidam Brahma iti vritti. It is the highest and the most purifying vritti. And those who give up this vritti, those who give up jahati, those who give up this vritti and concentrate upon the limitation, the vritti of limitation. Like Bhagwan said, mana yeva manushanam karanam bandha mokshayo. Brahma akara vritti is moksha. Jagat satyatva vritti is what? Bandha. That's what he's saying here. So he says those people who give up or who have forgotten the Brahmakara vritti, those after listening to Vedanta also are not interested in the nididhyasanam of this vritti, vrithaiva te tu jivanti. Their life is a waste. Listening to Vedanta, Shravanam, Mananam becomes a waste. I may become a scholar. I may become an MA in Upanishads and Shankara Bhashyam, Prasthanatraya MS, MA or PhD. I may be able to give lectures. I may be able to become a professor. I may probably be an examiner. I may have some students whom I train to be Vedantis. But then, what is my life? I can talk about Brahman, but what is the use? I'm not encouraging the Brahmakara vritti. Then, Vrithaiva tu jivanti pashubhishcha samanara. We are no different from the pashus. Probably pashus are better. At least they don't feel the bondage, though they are in bondage. They don't feel. I am bound, I am dukhi iti, they don't feel. When they are hurt, they cry. When they are hungry, they go after food. That's it. But I'm a dukhi, I'm bound. A pashu does not feel. So we are not even sama, we are worse than pashus. Because we try to expand our limitations. We try to magnify our limitations. Feel miserable, make other people miserable around us. So he says, Vrithaiva te tu jivanti, this kind of a life. It's okay if a person is not exposed to Vedanta, I can understand, we can understand. That's what Bhagwan says. If you have been exposed to Vedanta, if you have done Shravanam, if you have done Mananam, and if you are absolutely doubtless that Am Satyam Jagan Mithya, what is required is only assimilation of this knowledge. And if I don't do this, if I give up this nididhyasanam on Brahma Akara Vritti, then Pashubhishcha Samanaraha. Then what's the difference between me and a Pashu? He says. So that's why there is an Upanishad called Kenopanishad where it is said, Iha ched aveti, okay, tata satyam asti, na iha chedi, na ihat ched. If you do not attain this or assimilate this knowledge, mahati vinashti. Mahati vinashti. That is, it's a great loss. I have come as a human being capable of this knowledge, done enough of Shravanam, enough of Mananam, but na iha cha avedit mahati vinashti. If I do not utilize this and get myself free in this life now and here, and if I postpone this for some other life, mahati vinashti. What a loss, the Upanishad says, Kenopanishad. Who knows next life what will be if if I come back in some other form, some other body, what prarabdha is going to fructify at that time? What is it? Whether I'll be capable of coming back to it, I don't know. Now I have got a chance. So much exposure to Vedanta is there. Guru Mukhena Shastra Sharavanam has happened. With my own prayatna, Mananam has happened. Why not, involve myself and commit myself to Nididhyasanam? So, Vrathaiva tu jivanti. Let your life not be a waste. Let this knowledge be assimilated. Let it not be a wasted knowledge. Of course, there's nothing called as a wasted knowledge in Vedanta. Some other life, we will come back to this knowledge. But let's not postpone it. Let us try to do it now when we are hands on it. Let us do it. In the 131st verse, he says, ये हि वृत्तिं विजानन्ति ये ज्ञात्वा वर्धयन्त्यपि ते वै सत्पुरुषा धन्या वन्द्यास्ते भुवनत्रये ये हि वृत्तिं विजानन्ति. ये हि वृत्ति means what? This Vedanta vritti. Aham Brahmasmi vritti. Aham Satyam vritti. Jagan Mithya vritti. Any of vritti means the thought which is which is the thought which is dwelling upon the Vedantic truths. Vijananti. Vijananti means the ones who are at it, continuing to contemplate on it. Ye gnatva vardhayanti api. This thought becomes more and more and more an assimilated thought. Vardhayanti. It slowly starts sinking in and keeps me, to some extent, loosens my bondage to some extent. Every time I feel the limitation, this thought comes to me, Aham Purna Brahma Asmi. All this is an experiential reality. Vyavaharika Satyam really has no absolute, no Satyatvam in that. Immediately this knowledge comes to my rescue. The more and more this knowledge becomes stronger and stronger and very well assimilated, even the smallest negative feeling or a feeling of a kind of limitation by anything, immediately it is knocked off. Vardhayanti means this thought goes deeper and deeper, and bhavatvam, aham brahmasmi iti bhavatvam, improves. So may you understand very clearly, listeners, that Vedantic meditation uses the thoughts. What kind of thoughts? Vedantic thoughts. It is not making the mind stunned or mind empty. Instead of all other thoughts, I redirect the mind to the Vedantic thoughts and see that this thought perpetuates. This is Vedantic meditation. And I take an appropriate thought for my meditation as and when it is required. So says, Tevai Satpurushaha. They are the Satpurushas. Satpurushas means what? They are the ones who have made the best use of their lives. By this vritti, Satpurushaha, Dhanyaha. They are really blessed because this knowledge they have allowed this knowledge to bless them. This knowledge will bless when I allow this knowledge to bless me. Having this knowledge, not using this knowledge, having this knowledge, not assimilating this knowledge, I'm not allowing this knowledge to work for me. So they are dhanyaha, they are satpurushas. They are the satpurushas. Sat, we have heard this word very commonly, Satpurusha. They are the exalted beings. They are the ones who are getting released from the limitations and bondage of the anatma, body, mind, sense complex, and the name and form universe. Dhanyaha vandyaste vandyahate. They are worshipable, they are venerable. Lokatra bhuvanatraye. They are venerable, they are worshipable everywhere. Then says in the next verse, this extension of the same thought. Yesham vritti samavriddha paripakva cha sa punaha te vai sad brahmatam prapta netare shabdavadinaha. So, yesham vrittim samavriddha, those nididhyasakas who have allowed this Brahmakara vritti, this Aham Brahmasmi vritti, the Jagan Mithyatva vritti thought to sink into their minds, Paripakva. They have allowed this thought to literally become paripakva. Literally, this thought has matured, and the bhava is nothing but Aham Brahmasmi. There are no other limiting thoughts. There are no other limiting thoughts. Paripakva sa punaha. This thought, this vritti becomes paripakva. Means what? Fully ripened vritti. Can no longer be disturbed by anything else. And when this is paripakva, the world drops away from such a person. All the limitation drops away. Like a fruit which is very, very, a fruit which has become absolutely ripened, how it automatically drops away from the bondage of the tree. Similarly, this vritti, which has become paripakva, which has become natural, which has become assimilated, and which becomes a constant bhava in a person, such a paripakva vritti, tevai sad brahmatam prapta. They are the ones who have attained Brahman. There is no question of attaining. Here, attaining means what? They have understood that they are Brahma Swarupa. Aham Brahmasmiti, they have understood. This is called as Brahma Prapti. Brahman is not something which is sitting somewhere where you have to go and get it and bring it. Brahma Prapti means moksha, where the person has understood his very nature as Brahman. This Brahman is me. I am that Brahman. It is the one who has understood this. This is the paripakvata of that Brahmakara vritti. Netare Shabdavadinaha. Not the others who are Shabdavadis, who are merely speaking. They just speak because they have the gift of speaking. They have understood something, but have they allowed this Brahmakara vritti to become paripakva in them? Those people who have allowed this Brahmakara vritti to become paripakva, become absolutely ripened in such a way that they no longer see anything else. These are the people who are jnanis. These are the people who have attained, again in brackets, moksha, attained Brahman. Brahmavid apnoti param, Taittiriya Upanishad says. Brahmavid brahmaiva bhavati. We have seen it in Mundaka Upanishad last time. So what is the meaning of this? Not that Brahmavid apnoti param, not that I get Brahman. I abide in my own Swarupam, which is Brahman. Brahmaiva bhavati, Brahmavid, the knower of Brahman, understands that he or she is nothing other than Brahman. What I was looking for outside is my own nature. What I thought was an object outside which will make me happy, it's not like an object in the universe with a name and form. It is me. It is my Swarupam. I am that Brahman, and abiding in this knowledge. This is what is called as the Brahma Apnoti or Brahma Prapti. This Brahma Prapti is what? Abiding in my own, in not my own, in Atma Swarupam. It is me. There's no question of my own Atma. I am the Atma. I don't own this Atma. Atma is not my attribute. Atma is not my property. I am the Atma. Okay. Therefore, Aham Atma Asmi, Aham Brahma Asmi, this knowledge becomes absolutely assimilated knowledge. I don't see anything else other than Brahman. I don't see myself as anything else other than Brahman. I don't see the world as anything other than Brahman. Name and form, situations, circumstances, objects, that's just a play of, it's just play, Leela of Ishvara. According to the total, whatever has to happen in the universe, Ishvara Sankalpataya, by the laws of Ishvara, things are happening. That's it. But that should not bind me. This is the vision of a jnani, which is called as Brahma Prapti. This is the Samyak Darshanam. The Samyak Darshanam Aham Brahmasmi is moksha. There's nothing, no question of getting anything, no question of going anywhere, no question of reaching somewhere. It is just understanding that this is me, this Brahman which the Upanishads talk about is me. There's nothing else other than me. Everything that I see and experience is as good as not there. So I don't have to do anything to get rid of bondage. This very understanding frees me for all from all kinds of bondage. And a few more verses are there like that, which I think we'll take up in the next session, because if I start the next verse, I may not be able to complete it. So from the 133rd verse, we'll start it next time. And I think we'll just need only 2 classes more. Next class and next to that. In 2 sessions, we'll be completing Aparokshanubhuti. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्